Okay, Angelica, we're live. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, hello everybody. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me here. My name is Angelica Duenas. I am a congressional candidate in California's 29th congressional district.
Okay. And so you're with the Green Party. What brings you to run for office? What's important for you to run for office? I mean, besides your platform, just in general.
Well, I think that in the past 2 years, it's become very clear to many of us that both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, are not standing with the people. They're both corporatists and have become sold out to the corporations. So here in the San Fernando Valley, in the Los Angeles area, we have a number of politicians that have become super corporatist, and we felt that it was time to address those issues. And number one reason why we chose the Congress seat was because of our number one issue being peace. We would like to stop the wars around the world, and so that's one of the reasons why we picked to take this challenge on with the congressional race. And our current representative, Tony Cardenas, as you can see, his top five donors are, big oil, big pharma, etc. He over 80% of his funding comes from super PACs from outside the area. So it's just in our dire state of being.
Yeah, so I mean, just basically corruption. I mean, just money in our politics. It may be legal because of laws they've passed, but money paying our politicians to advocate for the wealthy is just plain corruption. Um, so today we were going to go over your platform and talk about all the issues that you stand for, but we had kind of a current event that happened. Um, can you go ahead and tell us about you had a rally for DACA? Can you go ahead and tell us about the organization for that and the beginning of that event?
Yes. So we were there to support Jorge, who is a dreamer who was leading this action. He was together with Our Dream, which is I think it's an offshoot of Our Revolution, and they're working on this project to defend DACA. And they reached out to a local group here called Democracy Project Los Angeles in order to lead the movement, and I decided to um, join them because it's an important issue. We were there to demand Diane Feinstein to give us time to speak, and to we were asking is for her to hold off voting on the tax bill until we have a clean DACA, a Clean Dream Act. So we were not able to get too close as while we were congregating across the street in a park. Police officers were already on the scene. They already knew we were coming. It was a public event online, and as soon as we crossed the street, they stayed close behind. They allowed for us to speak ahead of time out in the public sidewalk area. Went towards the doors to ask to be let in, but the doors were locked from the inside. We were not allowed to go in. Jorge decided to stand his ground and sat in front of the doors to block the entrance in order to gather the attention of um, Senator Feinstein's office to see if Feinstein's office to see if we can get in. Unfortunately, um, their orders were to have us leave the area, and police officers um, removed us from the space pretty instantaneously.
Okay, and so how many of you were there?
It was a small group, maybe 20, 25 people.
And so you had posted this on social media. So Diane Feinstein had plenty of time to respond or to, if not reply herself, she could have sent a representative to address you if this was an important issue to her. It obviously wasn't. It obviously wasn't important for her to come and address her constituents. Um, So, um, was there any contact? Was there any effort to contact Feinstein via email or some other way prior to the event?
Um, that I'm not quite sure. We were there supporting Jorge. From my understanding, it sounded like he did reach out to them and called ahead of time. And but we were not able to make any contact. We did hear that the senator was not in the building, so she was not there. Um, but her staff did not come down to greet us or to address us.
And so Jorge is he a dreamer himself?
Yes, he is.
And so he was arrested. I saw from the video he was taken away. You were detained and then released. Is there a reason why you were detained and released and he was arrested, or have you heard yet?
No, he was also released shortly after we were detained. So
Okay.
it was just a detention, and just to talk to us about making sure that we didn't get back on premises. So it was mainly to get us off of the private property space. That was
Right.
the police officer's intention.
So they just didn't want you there. So can you give us your stance on DACA? Um, what what do you think is the solution for our immigration policy? Should we have sanctuary cities? Um, what do you think we should do as a country and as a state to resolve this issue?
Well, as far as DACA goes, we definitely do support it. We want to defend it. We believe it's a start. But we actually believe that DACA is not good enough. It doesn't go far enough as far as keeping our immigrant brothers and sisters secure and here in their homes. We believe that DACA criminalizes parents, and so we want to put forward something better than that. We actually would demand Congress to get the process going to a immigration reform where we can have a legal path to citizenship for all. And that's where we stand. We believe that no human is illegal, and that in order to prevent families from being torn apart and from businesses, schools, families, etc., to be disrupted, we need to do something. We need to do something now. And the repeal of DACA is an outrage. It's just incredibly terrifying. I can't imagine what our brothers and sisters are going through. I feel that those folks who are privileged enough to be here without any fear of being deported need to stand up and speak up and support those who are willing to put their lives on the line to risk deportation. We need to support them and let them lead the way. But yes, we need to stand up and defend DACA, but we need to move it forward too.
Yeah. So obviously, President Trump's main issue that he ran on was building a wall, right? And there's a lot of, for instance, the Muslim ban. There's a lot of um, things that indict him as being bigoted, a racist, a white supremacist. I don't know which term fits him, but can you speak on President Trump and if his policy or his administration is based on bigotry?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that that's something that we expected. I mean, the whole campaign he ran was based on racism and bigotry. We were not surprised to hear that he is, repealing DACA. That's something that he promised. What we want to kind of point out actually is that the Democrats had an opportunity to make a a permanent path to citizenship happen during Obama's first administration. So although it's true that the Republicans are overthrowing this agreement, this DACA act, it's important to note that the Democrats have also failed the people. So at this point, we want the Democrats to stand up and to fight for the Dreamers. We need something better than a temporary, a deferred action. We need a permanent solution.
Yeah, I think before Trump, people called President Obama the deporter in chief. He deported a lot of undocumented workers, and he did very little. Even with DACA, of course, like you said, it doesn't go far enough, um,
That's right.
and did very little to give us comprehensive immigration reform. So a little bit going back to Trump, I think that hate crimes are up, and we see these rallies of white supremacy. Um, do you think that's attributed to Trump and his campaign and the overall his attitudes towards immigrants and people of color?
Well, I I feel that all of these feelings and this anger, this racism has been in existence long before Trump. So Trump is I would say is more of a symptom of a bigger problem. However, I do feel that Trump's rhetoric has emboldened these groups to be more vocal and more part of the mainstream, I guess you can say. They're even normalizing it, calling it alt right when I mean we all know what that means. It's racism, it's fascism, and so it's just becoming more, I think, obvious to some, but I don't think it's anything new.
Yeah, it does. I don't think it surprises those of us who have dealt with it our whole lives, right? Um,
That's right.
okay, so how about do you think there's a problem with policing and their attitudes towards undocumented workers or people of different ethnicities? You know, brown people, for lack of a better phrase. Do you think there's a problem with policing, and do we need police reform?
Yes, absolutely. I think that we need police reform in general, as far as their behavior towards immigrants and undocumented. I think it just depends on the area. I think in Los Angeles we're a bit privileged, where LAPD does not normally work with ICE or take that into consideration. Um, However, we have had incidents that it's LAPD has in previous cases has worked with ICE. So I think it depends on the area. I don't think it's a huge problem here in Los Angeles, but it is an issue. Um, in as far as police training in general, I think that it should definitely be a longer process, and the review process should be a lot more thorough. Um, and I mean, somebody who does your nails, it goes to school longer than a police officer does their training. So I do believe that there should be a longer training, de-escalation, procedures should actually be, I mean, first aid, honestly. They should be first responders. They should be on par with firefighters, and they should really be out there trying to prevent things from happening rather than causing, these violent acts. So as far as police goes, excuse me, I do believe that LAPD needs a longer training process, and that goes for all police departments in the nation. And there should be a major demilitarization of police. Um, I mean, some of these police departments are all swatted up. When there's a simple demonstration, down the street, and they're already ready with SWAT gear, and that's not really de-escalating a situation. That's really, escalating it. So we definitely need to demilitarize the police as a whole.
Yes, I agree. Um, and is Los Angeles a sanctuary city? And what's your stance on sanctuary cities?
Actually, right now it's in talks as far as city council goes. So it's in the process. We're hoping for it to be officially soon. Officially, LAPD does not cooperate with ICE. according to their stance, but we have seen otherwise in others in situations. As far as sanctuary cities goes, I am a total supporter. Actually, in technically, the state of California is a sanctuary state, um, but that's just really it's a statement. It's just sentiment. It doesn't really mean much. We need to work on actions where we are assuring that the police department is not uh, um, holding people's immigration status into account, and that they are not working cohesively with ICE to terrorize our communities.
Right, right. Okay, so let's change topics just a little bit. After Trump was elected, we saw a huge movement, and we had the Women's March come up. I think women are really taking leading roles. We have, for instance, Nina Turner leading Our Revolution. We have Roseanne DeMoro leading the nurses for the fight for universal health care. And of course, we have Jill Stein. You are one of very few women right here in California that's running for the Green Party. Can you talk about the role of women in politics and in leadership? Um, yeah, just women in leadership roles.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm definitely seeing a lot more women um, getting hands on and getting involved, which is great. Um, I do agree that, 2016, 2017, there was a lot of empowerment in the activist circles. I do see that a lot of women take the lead. I mean, of course, I also see a lot of the men, you know what I mean, having a hard time giving up the position as leaders. But I think that a lot of men are becoming a lot more self-aware and giving up space, in order to ensure that women have their space and their time. So it's been a mixed experience, but it's definitely exciting because I am seeing a lot more women coming forward in the organizing space. I would love to see a lot more women running for office. Maybe 2020 we'll see something different. I think that 2018 will be I think a woman's year. I think like we were talking beforehand with all these sexual harassment accusations coming forward, and representatives resigning and some not, right? But representatives resigning because of it, acknowledging uh, the inappropriate nature of their behavior. I think really is empowering a lot of women. And I really am excited to see what happens between now and the end of the year, to see who decides to run, and to see who ends up taking office come next year.
Yeah, this is an exciting time for women, certainly. Let me ask you about the sexual harassment allegations. Is there a reason this is coming to light now? Was there a catalyst that really just started, um, kind of opened the floodgates? What do you think has happened that I think women are becoming more comfortable to uh, to talk about this today?
Well, I think maybe most recently, I think maybe we can attribute to the Me Too, the hashtag Me Too movement. They kind of went around, last month and this month. And I think that that really made a whole lot of people really acknowledge how big the problem is and how major the issue really is, that we need to address. I think that it had maybe something to do too with a lot of men um, becoming self-aware of their behavior and the inappropriateness of it all. Mixture of of women coming forward, and you know uh, the women and the men around them come to that realization that we need to name names, and we can't stand by and let this stuff happen. It's definitely a bigger issue that we know. I'm sure. I mean, there's always rumors, and rumors, when they're prevalent, they come from somewhere. So I think it's only a matter of time. I think this is just the beginning as far as men and women that are going to be called out in regards to inappropriate behavior.
Yes, I think so too. Um, Well, Angelica, I reviewed your platform. I think it's very comprehensive, and you put a lot of time and thought into your views. Like I said, we're going to talk about your platform today, but because of the event that you were at and you're being detained, I thought it was more topical and current to cover this. But I really believe that you're a good candidate, and I thank you for running a progressive platform like you're running. We need that. Um, can you tell us what your website is and how people can contribute or also volunteer? Contribute financially or volunteer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first off, the our platform, it came in work with Kenneth Mejia's race. So Kenneth Mejia ran and is running for Congress in Congressional District 34 here in Los Angeles. And so he put a platform together, and our team has gone through it, fine-tuned it, changed a few things, but it's pretty much it's more or less abbreviated, and a little bit of tweaks here to have it fit the needs of our constituency and our district. And so that's where it originated from was in a cooperation with Kenneth Mejia, and you can find our platform at angelica4congress.com. So that's Angelica, Angelica, the number four, congress.com. And at the top there is a donate button, a button, and a volunteer button. And you can sign up to volunteer. We can have you phone banking in a number of days. We're actually having a big phone banking listing going on right now. There's a couple of phone bankers running through a phone list. We have our signature gathering kickoff. So, in order to get onto the ballot without paying a fee, we need to gather 2,000 signatures of registered voters in our area, regardless of affiliation. So if you're interested in helping us out, come on down. We will be meeting in North Hollywood, December 16th. So it'll be December 16th at 4 p.m., 4 to 6 p.m. at the Groundworks Coffee in North Hollywood, which is off of the red line and the orange line there in North Hollywood. We hope to see you there.
Awesome, excellent. Okay, so I'll put your website in the description on this video for YouTube, and then I would love to have you back to talk more about your platform, um, and maybe after your signature campaign gets going. Um, but
Yeah,
I
that'd be
really,
great.
like I said, I thank you for running. I thank you for doing this interview, and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I apologize for having such a short time today. I have a few things going on later on, but I do appreciate it, and I will be back soon. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thanks, Angelica.
Thank you.